Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the newest cool carry builds I've seen in a while. I had the luxury of playing with Non-Day's Underlord here in a pub that I played, and he went 17-0 doing some unbelievable amount of damage. I'll actually pull up the scoreboard. It was something crazy. 30k damage in a 22-minute game. In terms of the items, just so you guys can see it, Circlet Starting, Treads, Mask of Madness, into straight Harpoon, which actually is way better than I expected. I'll explain why. And then after that, you have a lot of options. I think in general, the best item here is going to be BKB 9 out of 10 times. I think even this game, it might have been. You just want to be able to hit people. And then after that, you have a lot of options. He went back for the BKB, which is, you know, fine. You definitely need BKB on this hero, otherwise you're going to get hard kited.
On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there.
Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. What is good about this Underlord? Why can it be viable? So the first starting point of it is Demon's Reach. It basically just gives you cleave for how much atrophy aura you have, which is obviously great for carry and farming. At level 1, generally you want to skill your E. You don't really want your Q. It's just kind of a lot of mana. It's not bad, but right, in general, I would say skill up the E. Even here, I would say he could just insta-skill it. It's just nice to start building up the damage, use it for denies. And I think the only reason he's holding his point here is because of the fact that maybe he wants to use his Q on boars or something like that, right? As it is a pretty good spell against boars, but he skills up the E. Maybe should have skilled it a bit earlier just to kind of get up some damage. And then really the craziest part about this Underlord is the fact that he just has 76 damage with 4 atrophy aura, which is obviously not a very high number, as his CS should be perfect here. It's very easy with Underlord to obviously get these last hits. Your animation is very good and your damage is like beyond high. And the main thing you want to do is just play for every single individual CS. You should not be getting aggressive in the early waves, as the cleave actually kind of making him miss a CS there and pushing the wave, which does suck a little. It's kind of like playing Sven, but you are forced to take cleave, which actually you don't really want to do, because it pushes the wave a little bit more than you'd want, but it's not the end of the world. The big thing is you can play off the push wave. Look what he's doing here. Playing off the push wave, kind of just being a nuisance. The enemy Tusk is only still level 1, and primarily just playing for high CS. A little fight breaks out here. Casts his Q to defend me. Almost gets a kill on Beastmaster. Unfortunately, I go down. But the big thing here is that his first item is boots. So this might seem weird, but I actually really like what he does with the boots. And the reason why is he has pressure in this lane, right? Some lanes, you're not going to have pressure. Maybe your pos 5's like an AA, and you don't want to skill your W. It's too much mana. Because of that, you can probably, I say that and then he skills his W. I will admit, it actually was better than I thought. I think if you're going to skill your W like this, your starting items probably should be Wand 3 branches instead of these circlets. Wand 3 branches starting items is probably better than what he has here in this game if he's going to skill build like this, because it's just a bit too much mana. It does secure him the kill on Tusk, who probably wanted to die, but it gets him a nice little kill on Tusk. He's Giga Farm, 19 CS, and a kill. And for his next item, he just rushes up the treads, which I don't really think is something you do in most games, guys. In general, you want to pick up a meta item, so you should either be buying like Wand much earlier. If you're going these starting items, you should pick up a Knoll earlier. You could be buying just a Clarity, helps. But in general, like, don't hold out on meta items. I actually think if I had to criticize this gameplay, it would be this. Like, just kind of sitting on this very low mana pool when it's definitely avoidable by just kind of using your... Obviously, like, he wanted to ship everything in one courier. I just think in general, it's a bad habit. That tends to be net negative in games. Okay, picks up treads. Nice Q here. Obviously, super high damage. He's hitting for 130. And with the treads movement speed, right, you get a bonus 10 movement speed when you complete treads. He's able to easily chase down the Beastmaster and gets a double kill. And at this point, you can see the cleave really starting to get to work, right? It really builds up when you get these kills. And he can actually just farm neutrals at minute 6 because he has these atrophy auras stacks and points in his Q. As for skill build, I like what he does here. I think the second point in the Q is worth it. Just amps that damage. I think it's totally reasonable, guys, to max out the Q first. Like, honestly, it's just a good spell. If you're going to show up to early game fights, it's still going to be the main value that you get out of this hero. However, the cooler build, I would say the more like interesting build, is maxing out the E. The main reason why you would do this is because it increases the duration, so the stacks last way longer. That is the main justification, I'd say. And the other justification is that it just gives more damage, right? You're just getting 8 damage per creep at max level, so I'd imagine he probably will want to skip ult at 7. Yeah, he actually didn't even think about it, which I would say in general, I would agree with. I don't think you need in most games to like skill ult at 6. I don't think you really want to rotate. I would view this hero more as a Magnus, where if you have a good lane or a Sven, you're just going to kind of rotate all of the camps. I don't think there's any reason to focus on rotating with Max E. I think if you max Q, it might be a bit more reasonable to make the move. And it's kind of funny, his items are just like Sven items, you know, besides like maybe the null. But, you know, it's just like some Sven items, which makes sense. You're just like a cleave strength boy. Okay, another nice thing about this hero is you can actually farm this ancient camp. Most carries cannot do this early, or at least not do it efficiently. And Underlord does not have that problem. Picks up the mask. And at this point, I think, yeah, he could rotate in. You're definitely pretty strong just with your Q and a casual route. But the main thing I would suggest is just kind of rotating the jungle as he stacks up that camp with his Q. Looks to make a rotation with the Storm. They don't find it. Actually pits up the boars and kills them off. Kind of a nice matchup against Beast. Actually just a hero that has a very natural answer. Oh, gating to mid. Responding to the dive here. And chopping down the tusk. Now, I would like to see him go back through the portal. Yeah. So this is the main thing you want to do. In the fights, you don't want them to last very long. You want to get a kill. And then even if the fight is kind of still going on, a lot of the time, I would recommend just hitting the gate back. Just getting back to your lane and continuing to defend your tower. Because that's just what this hero does well. You know, it just kind of holds its area. It's obviously really tanky. Gets gone on by the Beastmaster here. But with 30% damage reduction, the boars and the Beastmaster here are just really not doing that much damage. Oh man, that was, what was he hitting for, like 250? After that kill, he's hitting for 360 right now, 370, as he gets gone on, and just mans up to the Warlock Golem, nearly chops down the Tusk. Oh, the Caudle recall made the DK stun the Caudle and not the Underlord. I don't think that was intentional, and look at this damage. Now, I'm gonna keep it a stat, guys. If you're not getting kills, you're not gonna be hitting this hard. Obviously, him gating to mid is kind of what started that all, because that DK kill gives 45 damage for 75 seconds. Keep in mind, at level 10, you get Atrophy Aura Duration, which he obviously is going to take here. I do think the other facet is really good this game. The Invading Force movement speed bonus damage reduction. Every time Caudle recalls someone, they get movement speed and damage reduction. However, it makes too much sense to keep your damage as carry Underlord, right? In hindsight, there's no way that you're not taking this. I actually was talking to someone about this and I was arguing for the other one, but I think it just doesn't make sense. You need to keep your damage as carry Underlord. A bit too much. And yeah, just gonna cycle the back camps. For skill build, he is gonna skill his abilities. I think some people would be tempted to take stats because he hit hard. I think it's foolish. The W is an incredible ability as he actually gates in here, but cancels it. Just realizes it's not a good decision. Instead, he can just take this tower if he feels comfortable. No. Enemy hero is not showing, right? And keep in mind, guys, even if you're tanky, you're not that survivable, okay? When he got gone on bottom just before and we saw him kill them all, it's not like he was sieging the tower and got full focused by like 3-4 heroes at the same time. It was kind of like a spread out bunch of goes, like Beast went alone, then Tusk went alone. You're not that tanky. You have high health, but your ability to disengage is not that good. And as a result, don't take some crazy risk on this hero. In general, you should play it more like a safe free farm carry than like some psycho hit buildings because I have high damage type hero. You know, it's not like you're lifestealer and you can rage TP out or some jug or something like that, you know. Okay, yeah, so this is the first fight with the Harpoon, which the main reason why Harpoon is good on a hero like Underlord is you just have gap close issues. Like a lot of carries have innate slows or stuns. He has a root, but it's just not that long of a root unless you have an Atos or a Harpoon. What's cool about the Harpoon is you can pull them back into it. Now that does not happen here. We'll see it later. But just 3 chops the Warlock. Q onto the Tiny. This is actually such a good Underlord game for a couple reasons. The E, the damage reduction, is incredibly good against Tiny because Tiny has high base damage, or high base damage. It's good against DK, good against Tusk, Beast, the E, and then the percentage base damage of the Q is insanely good against DK and Tiny. This is such an elite Underlord carry game, actually. He got blessed. But yeah, fight breaks out here, and this is kind of the nice thing of, so it didn't really play into factor here, but he puts down the root, drops the Q, which is always still good to do. This ability is just broken, and then a couple chops, and the chops with the Harpoon can keep most heroes in the root, and then it will root them again, and that's how you're really going to get your auto attacks off, right? It's root, and then if you want to really optimize at like solo killing someone, you can kind of pull them from like here back into the root as well. So there's probably a lot of ways to min-max this with the Harpoon. I mean, I guess the main way is just to kind of just do it when they're, you know, just outside of the pit. You're going to pull them back into it, but clean fight. Root up onto the Tiny. Pulls the Tiny back in. Trying to chase him down. Gets stunned. He's all right. Just chopping down these boars. Unfortunately, the main issue with this hero is that it gets kited. It just gets kited. So that's why you have to. I think that's the main reason he's probably even buying Manta. If I had to think about it, obviously BKB is the best don't get kited item in the game, but Manta helps, right? It's definitely solid. This game, it also gets rid of like Fatal Bonds. So does BKB, but it gets rid of Fatal Bonds more casually, and the movement speed from Yasha is great on this hero, right? It's just one of those heroes where you, oh my god, look at this farm speed, guys. Chop, chop. This hero's farm speed is ridiculous. Look at these ancients. Doosh. Stacks. Boosh. Okay, gets recalled. Couple chops. Back to farming. He's got his Manta up. And kind of the cool thing about this hero is that it's like a pseudo Nature's Prophet, right? Is he just joins some sort of like top kill on Storm. You know, very casually TPs in, gets the kill. Maybe could have gated back here. I would have liked to see it. Could have connected to this mid fight a little bit faster, but decides to just push out top. As fight breaks out, joins in, looking for a kill. Root up onto the beast, can probably harpoon him back into this one. Actually, doesn't even need it at this point. Yeah, good idea to hold it. That's a really good situational awareness. Decides to try to steal the kill on Warlock. And now he is hitting for 450 damage. Sorry, 550 damage. My god. If you snowball on this hero, it is broken. Now, I will admit, I think even if your game is a little hard, not the best, it's still a fine carry. You're going to scale pretty well. And your Q just naturally scales very, very well. Right? It's just percentage damage as chopping down the Tiny. 6 hits and he's gone. Let's look at the talents. Hit of Malice slows by 25. Okay, I guess with carry that makes sense, right? Because you want to keep hitting people, right? So just a slow. But Firestorm cooldown tends to be better for, you know, normal offlane Underlord, just because it's such a broken spell, just such high damage. But I actually like the pit slows. At 20, Atrophy Aura attack damage reduction and gain, of course. And then at 25, I think you take the Pit of Malice Fruit. The other one is just a meme. It's just trash. You take Pit of Malice Fruit, for sure. Fight breaks out, root up. Manta to dodge the roar. It's roared anyway. Q up. Boosh! Oh my god. And he's got his BKB. Now for his next item, I'm trying to think what I'd like to see. I'd probably an Abyssal. I think buying Abyssal makes sense on this hero as your next item. You could also buy something like Satanic. I think going BKB into Sanjin Yasha is probably better in most games. I think the Manta style is like fine this game. It's pretty good against something like Beastmaster. It's good against the Fatal Bonds, as I was mentioning. It's good against Beast because you click the Manta when he's about to roar you to sort of disengage from it, which is definitely really strong. However, they were feeding him to end here to give him damage so he could end faster. It's pretty funny. So yeah, I would say in general, natural progression in my head, I think the Manta is okay. I think Sanjin Yasha into Satanic instead of Manta with BKB is good too. Just because you kind of want that Sanj with Satanic a bit too much. I think it has a little too much synergy. You can just go Satanic in this slot. He queues up an AC, which actually, oh yeah. I guess maybe in a lot of games you need this AC. You have a pretty pathetic 19 armor. It's going to be pretty hard to man up in games that are a bit closer against a lot of hyper carries. You'll like some TB, even though you have Atrophy Aura, which helps with the lack of armor. It is kind of probably just like 10 armor or something, the math or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the AC probably helps. I can see that. Going something like AC into Abyssal, AC into Satanic, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.